Whether you're thinking about quitting your job, starting a side hustle, or just curious about the realities of being your own boss, this podcast explores the possibilities of being unemployed for a living. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Unemployed for a Living with Ken and Corey.
Corey.
That's Corey.
Do I
right
say
over
it
there.
or do you say it?
I think you took care of it. I think you're good. So man, last week, so we're going to jump right into this because last week on the show, we talked about having confidence, gaining confidence, having confidence in your skill set, even when you might not know what that skill set is. And that's kind of what this episode is about. And using the amazing tool of AI, in this case, ChatGPT, to help get you kind of get those skills and those ideas collected in one spot and start to churn out some ideas and directions that you can go to start a side hustle.
Yeah, it's just one tool to help connect the dots.
Yes.
There's nothing magical about it. It just kind of helps you connect the dots where you might not see them. And it's become a pretty important tool for me in my day-to-day.
Yeah.
I think you even said like lately it's been more and more like you use it more than you probably ever did before.
Yeah, where, rather than doing a Google search on something nowadays, unless it's something simple, I'm going to ChatGPT and I'm asking it questions. I mean, there's no affiliate thing here with ChatGPT because it's a free.
I don't think they have an affiliate thing.
Okay, well, perfect then. So we're not, getting anything for this, but we have a tool over on our website, unemployedforalivingpodcast.com. I'm just gonna bring it up.
If you love what you're hearing on Unemployed for a Living, join the break room. As a member, you're going to get early access to our episodes. You're going to get an exclusive break room access pass sticker, and you're going to have a chance to have your questions featured on the show. It's a great way to support the podcast and become part of the conversation. So head over to the YouTube channel and click join today.
I'm going to bring it up right here. And so if you go over to unemployedforaliving.com, up at the top, right here beside the join the break room link is a link called the Side Hustle Finder. And I have the page up.
To tie it back, Ken, we did tell them in the last episode, we did mention some different questions to start thinking about. Like, what are your skill sets? What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? All this tool there's no magic behind the tool. There's no big algorithm. It's literally going to take those questions. It's going to ask you those questions.
Yes.
And then it's going to format them into a statement that you can copy and paste into ChatGPT.
Yes.
And it's just to help you start the conversation with AI to connect all those dots and find the side hustle that's right for you.
Exactly. Yes. And it's a very, very simple tool. And I'll throw out there, if you are listening, if you just listen to the podcast on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, any of those places, jump over to YouTube. The link is down in the description, or you can just go to unemployedforalivingpodcast.com. You'll see a link there. We're showing the tool. We have it up on the screen right now. And I want to say first to people, we're not gaining anything from this. If you're filling out the information, that's not something that we see at all. It's just kind of like a simple online form that gives you a paragraph or combines all of your answers to the questions that you can plug into ChatGPT yourself. And so we're not getting anything.
There's no
this.
sign up. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
You can use it or don't.
Yes. And so I just wanted to make people think, it's just so that people didn't think, oh, they're trying to collect information. They're going to see all this. We don't know. There's no place to fill out your name or anything like that. You're just going to do this and get some results.
Now, this is the tool. This is the exact tool, the exact form that I used and that both of my daughters used to find our side hustles that we're currently doing right now.
Yeah.
And
we
just thought it would be helpful for other people. So we're sharing it out there. Like I said, there's no magic. We just created a way rather than tell you to go try and find your side hustle in ChatGPT. That's kind of intimidating for somebody that's never been on ChatGPT.
Yes.
So we're just trying to help. This tool just basically forms that first introduction. and it makes it easy for you to have that conversation with ChatGPT.
Exactly.
So that's all this is. And there is a video right on the website, right when you go to that link, that'll walk you through each one of those questions and give you examples of the answers, and then also navigate your way through the chat GPT once you're on that side. So it's got a full walkthrough right there on the page for you.
Yes. And if you were listening, if you checked out last week's episode 4, we were talking about some of those examples that your daughters, you had kind of made this tool, and you had your daughters just like, hey, let's go through this and see. And they both found something. It helped them, and they're both already making money in like what, basically a month or so. They're already actually bringing in money from a side hustle. And so as Corey had said there, the very first thing that you're going to see on the page, it says, watch this first. And there's a video right there beside it. And it's going to walk you through what to do. I think, Corey had already said that, but very, very, I encourage people, watch the video. It's not very long. And it's, Corey just kind of going through, showing those examples and stuff. But as you go down to, it says there, the Side Hustle Finder is a tool designed to help you test drive your next side hustle with little to no commitment. Find the perfect side hustle for you and see if you love it before fully committing to it. Give it a try. You never know when you'll find the side hustle you've been waiting for.
That's an important part, that last part, because both of my kids that are doing side hustles now, my youngest is actually finishing the tail end of a project that they paid her $500 to design some worksheets that she just picked up a couple of days ago. She wasn't looking for a side hustle. Neither was my older. Like they were over here for Christmas and they were just testing this out. and it got them excited, and they both ended up doing something with it. So you really don't know where your next side hustle's coming from.
Corey's always thinking about business in the next way, even on Christmas morning, opening up gifts. Corey's like, hey, try this, fill out this form. But hey, if you were looking, if they were doing any sort of New Year's resolutions, they might have said, what can I do to make some more money? And boom, they're already doing it. And so this is just a jump start, a way to get into it. And it's simple. I think there are 16 questions.
16 questions.
And they're relatively simple questions. That starts out, what's the last topic you got really excited about? Or what are 3 things people often ask you for help with? Because we talked about that last week, is, you have skills maybe that you don't know. Maybe somebody's always coming to you and say, oh man, my sink's leaky and I need to, do you know how to fix that? And it's like, oh yeah, people are constantly asking me to do that. Or,
and it doesn't mean
pants are ripped and I need to sew these.
It doesn't mean that AI is going to tell you to be a plumber. But if it knows, it's just to help AI get to know you better. You're making, by answering these questions and just being brutally honest with it, you're making an introduction statement to AI so that it gets to know you a little bit. It's the hello introduction. This is who I am in a nutshell. And you're going to refine that as you go forward.
Yeah.
But this is just an introduction. So it may see that, okay, one of the things you're good at is you could fix a leaky faucet. Well, that may translate to a lot of different side hustle opportunities that are not necessarily fixing faucets.
And I think it's a good time, right here, because we've mentioned AI a few times, and right now AI is relatively new. People are just starting to hear about it. And of course, when you watch a news story, it's all doom and gloom. AI is going to take over, and or
not
it's
my
going
news
to.
Stories.
Well, yeah, it depends on which way you're going with it, but
that's your algorithm.
And it might be a little bit intimidating. Or you get older folks. Did you see me point to myself there, Corey, when I said older folks?
I feel like we both qualify there.
I'm not going to learn that. Or people that it's they just don't want to go down that road. But it's not that scary. And the more that you do it, even just like do one little thing and you go, oh wow, that's amazing. You keep saying all it does is help connect the dots. It makes connections to things that that you wouldn't be able to think of on your own, because it has such a vast pool of information that it can pull from. And so it doesn't have to be, because some people might be listening to this and go, oh, it's AI. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to put in anything that I don't want it to steal my identity. There's none of that. There's none of that with this. I
think the important thing about the tool is if you answer the questions and you're honest with yourself,
Yeah.
and you're honest with the questions, it doesn't have superpowers. So when you get your first set of results, when you paste this into ChatGPT, what it gives you back, you're going to be very disappointed with the answers. And that's completely normal because you just met someone. You said, this is who I am. What should my career be? They don't know yet. You have just enough information to recommend a few generic things, but it doesn't know yet. So there's a longer conversation, and the tool walks you through doing that, what the rest of that conversation is going to be, or how to do the rest of that conversation. And by the end of it, if you're being honest with it and you're answering the questions like the tool tells you to answer, you will definitely come up with something that's exciting and doable that you could take into a side hustle if you chose to.
Yeah. I like that you said, it's like meeting a new person. I know, because when people first come up to me and I meet somebody, they're like, you have to be a model, right? I mean, you're out there and
yes, that's the first thing I thought.
Maybe a voiceover artist or something like that. They're probably thinking it's something much more than what I am. But very simple questions. And the one thing that I will stress, okay, I've done this, Ted, you've done it, you had your daughters do it, and they're already making some money because they took ideas and they refined them and they actually implemented them and are doing
I have
it.
to force myself to stay out of this tool because I've done it and I've started 2 new side hustles and I don't need more side hustles right now.
Yes.
But I have to force myself out of it because I get excited when it starts giving me new answers. And the more ChatGPT gets to know you, the more it can dial in those answers. And it knows me well enough now that it would have me chasing a different side hustle that I'm super excited about every week. So I have to stay out of it.
Quit using the tool, Corey. Quit using it until you get some. But I've done it. I've went through it. Where I was going with that is I've done it a couple times. And I actually went through the whole tool with my girlfriend, with Jill. And then we're going to talk about that after a bit in the results and how we went through it with her. But myself, what I encourage people to do is answer the questions at their face value. Don't try to force it into giving you a certain direction. Don't try to trick it into giving you answers that you want it to have, because this is just to help get the juices flowing and your brain to think through different ideas. Because if you already have this great idea in your head and you're trying to force it, hey, I have these ideas about stuff. Well, just at that point, just go to ChatGPT and start to research that. This is to help people realize what the potential of stuff.
Yeah, and we did say it's like building a conversation so ChatGPT can get to know you. If you start out a relationship in real life by telling somebody you should date me because I'm a professional football player, and then they start dating you, that's not going to result in anything good when they find out you're not. Like, you want to be honest from the very first. Just be completely blunt and answer them at their face value, and you're going to get way better results than if you're trying to outsmart it or think past it. Like, just answer them for what they're asking, and don't include any more than that.
Yes. And I mean, unless you're this is for a committed relationship. This isn't for a one night stand, because, I'm going to tell somebody that I'm a football player. Well, they already think I'm a model and an all-star pro athlete.
If I tell somebody I'm a football player, they're immediately going to think I'm mistaken and I meant foosball.
Okay. Other questions in like a personality question or section. Do you prefer working alone or with a team? How do you do best? Are you introverted or extroverted? Or do you kind of fall someplace in the middle? So very simple questions. An important one: what motivates you to start a new project? Whether it's a side hustle or just any new project or whatever, something that you might be a little bit excited about. What motivated you? What
do you need money? Are you trying to help people?
Yes.
Like, what's your motivation for starting it in the first place?
Yes. And then the couple of some at the end here in the commitment section is important, because maybe you're at a 9-to-5. This is kind of a side hustle finder to kind of help you, guide you. Hey, I can make a few extra bucks for whatever. I want to pay my car payment. I want to do, we talked about that last week as well. What your goals, but how comfortable are you with taking risks? And just be honest. When I filled out the form, I am not a big risk taker.
Nope.
I want to try to think it through. I want to know a lot about what I'm going to do before I would jump in. And so I'm telling this that until I've really thought it through, I'm not going to take a great big risk on something new. Where Corey, you're a lot different than that. You're going to jump in and
I'm gonna try it and see, guy. I have to touch the stove to see if it's hot.
Yes, exactly. How much time per week can you dedicate to this new thing? If you're working a 9 to 5 already, or you have other family, you have a family, you have young children at home, you have, maybe you get off from your job and you have all of these things to do. Maybe you have a second job already. That's is it, and be honest, if you can do 1 hour a week towards this, maybe you can do 10 hours, whatever. Just that's what you want to put in.
And be conservative. Don't overcommit yourself. Be conservative.
Yes.
If you could do an hour a day, tell it that. Just stay on the conservative side if you're not sure.
Exactly. Because if you don't want to get results back. One of the ones we were talking about earlier, Corey, was what is your budget for starting? Okay, a new venture or whatever. Maybe you have a little bit. It's like, I could put $100 into this. Maybe I have zero money. That's why I want to start a side hustle. Put in there.
Or maybe you have 10 grand.
Yes.
And that would be different. I mean, if you have a $50 budget, it's probably not going to come up with the recommendation that you should go buy and flip cars.
Yes.
As to where if you have a huge budget, maybe that's an option. And depending on your risk tolerance. So again, it's not going to nail this out of the gate, but those kind of questions are very important to getting to know what it is you're looking for.
Yeah. And so those are the types of questions. And then what's going to happen? And again, I encourage you, don't just come in and start doing the form. Watch the video at the beginning, because that's really going to step you through the next part. When you're done with all the questions, down at the bottom, there's a big orange button that says generate my prompt. And what that's going to do is it's going to take all of this information that you gave it and make a big long paragraph of it.
Yep.
And then you're going to go over and you're going to open up ChatGPT. You don't have to have an account for that. It's free. It's whatever. You're going to copy and paste this over there, and it's going to populate with all these different ideas of things that you can do based on the answers that you gave it. And it says in the video, and Corey just said it, and it's not going to be right down to the, here's what to do. Well, it should somewhat, again, because we talked about that. It's that introduction.
It's going to be somebody giving you. It's going to be somebody giving you advice based on you, without knowing a whole lot about you yet. It knows just enough to give you advice, but not enough for it to be good advice yet.
Yeah, and if I just came up and I told you that man, I'm a reseller. I'd resell. And you go, oh, okay, what's that? But then you don't know, what do I resell? What kind of things am I going to resell? Do I have a niche that I'm down into? Then you're going to refine it. So following through with that video of what's going to happen after you plug this into ChatGPT, and there are going to be some things in that list that you go, well, that's not really what I want to do, but it's an idea and it's in a direction, and you're going to tell it then, and kind of like a step 2 that's outlined in the video.
I will say this is where everybody that has not completed this all the way through has fallen off at this point right here, where it gives you that first list of 10 things. Yeah. Everybody I've seen just fall off and say, this is ridiculous, it doesn't work, has fallen off right at that point. And that point, that's like walking up to somebody and saying, hi, my name's Corey. And they say, hi, I'm Bob. And you're like, all right, bye. You were introduced. Now you have to have the rest of the conversation if you want any value out of it. So that second part of this is where it gets good, and it's where it gets interesting. And if you take nothing else out of this whole thing, out of the whole exercise, you've at least taken the first step to introduce yourself into ChatGPT, into using AI. Yes. Like, you'll know a little bit more about it and be a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah, which is becoming such a valuable tool out there. More and more it's going to get to be that if you're not using, well, AI is used all the time, and you're using, when you are doing searches on your phone, you're doing stuff, AI is being used in the background of a lot of things that you just don't realize that you're already using it. This, now you're kind of getting up front and close and personal with it. So, and it's that first time that you go, you're going to get that list. The second time, you're going to refine it. You're going to tell it a little more about why you do and you don't like certain ideas. And then it's not like it's a 1 and a 2. You might hit right on the second one. Oh man, this is a great idea. And you're going to run, tell me more about this. Let's do a business plan. It'll give you prompts at the end of, hey, you say, oh, really, I really like idea number 3, but I want to explore that a little bit more. And then eventually it can even get into writing a whole business plan and giving you great ideas for how to market something, or how to, how to proceed with something. Maybe information of how to contact someone. It could write you a contact letter to somebody. If you had to do a cold call, maybe something that you do needs you to go out and find new customers or whatever.
That's similar to something that when I did this the first time, when I started making this, it came up with an idea and I was like, I really like that idea. I want to explore that further, but I don't know where to even start on this. And as I started, I asked ChatGPT, let's explore this and see what this involves, because I don't know where to start, or if this is something I could even do. And we started breaking it down. And by the end of it, I had gone in a whole different direction that had nothing to do with the original idea. But by exploring it, it led me to a new thing. And it was completely different than the original thing. And that's okay. That's part of the conversation with ChatGPT. You can explore options that I would have never in a million years thought of what I'm doing as a side hustle now, had ChatGPT not kind of walked me through. And it's just a thought process that led there.
Yeah. And so it's putting in the effort. It's putting in the time. You're going to have to do that. None of this stuff is just going to fall into somebody's lap. Even if you didn't have this tool, or didn't have the ChatGPT or anything, and you decide, oh, I want to start a side hustle, there's some thought to put into that. There's some commitment. There's some sacrifice. There is anything that's going to be successful.
Well, we can talk about that a little bit, but I'm really curious at this point. Now that you've kind of seen the tool, you have the link to it. Go use it or don't. It's up to you. I'm really curious if some of you guys go use this and you go all the way through it and do the process. I'm really curious to hear some of your results and what it came up with, and whether or not you were excited enough about it to actually give it serious thought, to explore it further. Like, I'm really curious about it, because I love hearing those stories.
I guess that's our premise for doing this. It's not because it's free. It's not anything that you're being charged for, and we're not collecting any data. We're not getting anything other than what we would like is if you do go out and you do try it, maybe you do it and you go, well, that was dumb and it was a waste of my time. I want to know why you felt that it was a waste of your time. Or if something sparked and you said, hey, this was a good idea. Maybe there's a question, not that I'm going to put Corey on the questions or whatever, but there would be, maybe you go, I got this and it's a great idea, but I don't know how to do a next step. I don't know what to do. What's a prompt? What's a question? What's something that I could ask ChatGPT? We want to see that in the comments. And hopefully, that's the goal of doing this. And I want to talk a little bit about the experiences of me filling it out and my girlfriend filling it out. And, we've already heard, your daughters did it. They progressed with it and they're making money. We talked last week about doing something to just make that first $100. Just get a customer, do something to make the first $100. Ideally, what your daughter was making some money, a little bit in like the first week or so, right?
Yeah, within the first 2 weeks, they had both passed well over that $100 mark. I mean, the one, my younger daughter, she's pushing $2,000 now in a month and a week.
Yeah, that's
just doing a side hustle that she wasn't even looking for.
I'd like to have an extra $1,000 in a couple weeks, or a couple months, a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. I'll take $1,000 anytime. I'm not particular.
That's the differentiator. Neither of them was really looking for anything like that.
Yeah,
but they got excited about it, and they both did something that the vast majority of the people don't do. They said, "Okay, I'll take step number one. I'll do the first thing." Like, They saw it, they're excited about it. This would be awesome. And that's where most people quit with this would be awesome. I would love it if this happened. Nothing's going to happen to you. You have to actually take the step. And they both took the step and it paid off. So that's the exciting part for me, is when people see that and they get excited about it, but then they actually get off the couch and take the first step.
Yeah.
Unless your side hustle is doing something on the computer, you might not even have to get off the couch.
Yes. And a lot of stuff you can do on your phone these days. You can do everything from the phone sitting there. But in my experience, okay, so I went through this twice myself. Okay. And I'll talk about my experience first. The very first time that I did it, I have some thoughts in my head of things that I would like to do as either a side hustle or something replacement for what I do now, which is reselling. And I probably wouldn't replace that. It would just kind of be a complement to it. Yeah. And I started the tool and I was trying to force answers on it, put stuff in that I thought, oh, it's going to return this of stuff that I already know. And the results were
not great.
Horrible. No, they weren't anything that I would ever do.
Well, the results they weren't what you were trying to get it to tell you. So you weren't going to like it no matter what they were.
Exactly. And so the second time that I did it, which was actually just yesterday, I went through as like a show prep sort of a thing. I wanted to go through it again. And I answered the questions for their face value, for the black and white of what is the question asking me, not as a whole, but that individual question. What is it asking me? And I answered it that way. And my initial results that I got were not all spot on, but they were a whole lot closer than they were the first time that I did it. And then I was able to go to that second step where I'm going through and again,
refining.
Watch the video, please. And just telling it, I don't like this idea at all. I'm never going to do this. This idea is kind of close and here's why, but let's, do that. And I just went down through each one of them. My results the second time through were much closer, much more thought-provoking, much more exciting. Nothing that I have so far is that's the one. That's what I want to do. That nailed it right on there. But there are a couple in the list that maybe if I say whatever, combine number 3 and number 6 together, and this is why, I'm sure it's going to get down to something that meets my time commitment, my low tolerance for risk. First of all, is I'm not going to jump right out there. My time commitment.
With yours, I know you have a low tolerance for risk, but you tend to look for a guarantee that this is going to work. Like I have to know it's going to work or I'm not going to do it.
I would say that's fair.
And that doesn't exist. Not in side hustles, not in starting businesses. It doesn't exist in life when it comes to doing business. There's always a better chance you're going to fail than you're going to succeed.
Yes.
But when you finally get one that's exciting enough for you, you're like, I'm willing to take the risk because I'm so excited. I like this one so much. And you take the first step, you improve your odds of succeeding by about 90% just by doing it.
Well, and I think some of my issues too go all the way back to I think what the second episode that we did here is that over analyzing everything. I want to know all of the details, and I'm not one that jumps out there. I think there's a lot of people like me.
There are.
And I think there's a lot of people like you that are like, oh, I'm even moderately excited about let's go do it. And so this is an opportunity for you to kind of fine tune that and have somebody to talk to. Well, we were chatting earlier today, and it was like a lot of times, in reselling, which is what I do primarily, and a lot of our audience at the moment is reselling. And you hear that theme over and over and over again about how
lonely.
It's lonely and you kind of do the work all by yourself. But you may get into the communities and the YouTube and stuff, but for the most part, you're just doing this on your own.
And most people aren't in the YouTube atmosphere that resell.
No,
the vast majority are not. So it's just even more lonely than the ones that are influencers.
Yes. And what I like that you say, and what I try to keep in my head is that at least like the Chat GPT is somebody that you can talk to. Not everybody has, I'm gonna I'm going to toot your horn, Corey.
That sounds fun.
Did you want to block out the screen? No, that's true. But not everybody has a Corey to talk to that has just these
and they're thankful
great
for
ideas,
that.
this wealth of knowledge. Yes, be thankful that you don't have, because every day,
Put on a lot of
by
miles.
the time of our conversations are done, and my brain's shutting down. It's trying to process all of this stuff.
If you knew how many nap times Ken had to miss because of me.
I missed nap time today because for some reason, Corey knows when my nap time is during the day, and he knows when it's my family coffee time next door. And now he's been better, because usually he called me right during nap time, and I'm waking up, I'm groggy. It's now he's strategically calling me like a little bit before like nap time, maybe even like a half an hour. But you don't have a half an hour conversation with Corey.
Ever.
It's like it's a good hour, and it's like I'm actually putting on my coat. I'm walking next door over to my folks, standing on their back porch with my hand on the knob, going, all right, I got to go. But that having those to be able to kick around some of those ideas, it's not the same as human interaction with the Chat GPT, but it is.
But it's very it depends too, because it is very conversational. It's 100% conversational. Like it will, and you can even tell it who you want it to be. Like that's probably the biggest tip I could give you if you're starting to use Chat GPT. It's like having a friend that you could tell it who to be. Like, you are now my co-business owner. You're my co-CEO.
Yes.
And I want to talk about this business, and I need you to help me brainstorm ideas. Like it does that very well. It can take on whatever role you tell it to.
Yes. And my Chat GPT looks nothing like Corey. I like to talk to Corey, but if it can be anybody you want it to be, blonde hair, blue, so yeah, it is cool. And more I use the AI, just for the simplest fact. But I was going with, me filling out the form and getting the things and not trying to jade or persuade the answers one way or another. And my second time through, where I just answered the questions, for their face value, I got much better results, and fine tuning it. And I got a couple of ideas that I'm excited about, and I'd still have to go through. I went through kind of step 1, step 2. I really need a step 3, maybe a step 4 to go through and really get that excitement, and something that tells me, hey, this is, again, nothing's surefire. Nothing's going to be.
Those are in the paid version.
The winner.
We're going to charge you millions of dollars for that one.
No, it's
step
all
3
free.
and step 4. Step 3 and step 4 are just continue the conversation. Don't stop when you find that one thing that you're like, I'm excited about this. I think I might want to try this.
Yeah.
Tell Chat GPT that. I like number 4. I would actually like to try this. What's this involve? How do I start?
Well,
where do I start?
It'll give me prompts at the end of the thing. It says, if any of these are appeal to you, would you like me to write a business plan for this? Would you like me to tell you how to start up?
And I don't recommend
said yes to that, or haven't.
Like,
I haven't.
For me, business plans, like, I have never seen a business succeed because of their business plan. To me, that's the biggest colossal waste of time. I think business plans were made up by banks so that they could get the 80%. I think he's going to make it, and give them the loan or not give them the loan. A business plan doesn't serve you much good at all. If you've ever started a business, you didn't succeed because of your business plan.
Well, but you have guidelines.
But you could have it give you a step-by-step on how do I get this from this idea to my first customer. Give me a step-by-step on that. That's actually helpful.
Yeah. Well, but I don't think I'm going to disagree with you there, Corey. I think a business plan, to have something down that this is a goal, this is what I want to do, that to me, I like to see that stuff in front of me.
I know you do, but it's like Mike Tyson.
Part of that, but
like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And business will punch you in the face from 30 seconds in.
Yes.
You will get punched in the face in business as soon as you start. So it is nice to have some kind of a guideline, like this is where I'd like to go, but that's what goals are. You don't need a business plan. You don't need to spend 6 days making a business plan for that. Know where you want to go, have a goal, and have some step-by-steps of how you want to get there. The biggest thing is take the first step, get the first punch out of the way, and then figure out what you're going to do after that. ChatGPT can help you with that too. You took the first step, and it didn't work out the way that it's set on paper. Now what do I do? And it's very good at helping you navigate those things. We talked earlier today that I really think if you put two people that were exact identical twins and they thought the same, they did everything identical, and you gave one this business to start and the other one the exact same business to start, but one of them had to start it without access to internet, that's how big of a difference it is between doing a business now and doing a business with the help of AI. It's that big of a gap.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're not using AI in some way in your business and your competitors are, you are going to lose.
Oh yeah, a bunch of, and it kind of, the AI kind of being in its infancy and getting in now, and it's not as difficult or intimidating as
it's not at all
as what it seems, or it's not what all the stories say. And again, use AI or don't use AI, but when the next guy is fine tuning and doing all of that stuff, you're going to be behind the.
And I don't want to make it seem. I don't want to make it seem black and white, like you won't beat a competitor without AI. If your competitor is a convicted felon with neck tattoos and eyebrow tattoos and you have a good personality to talk to people and you're in a personality business, you're probably going to beat your competitor. But if it's on even ground and you're competing with somebody that's willing to take advantage of those tools, and you're stubbornly saying I'm not going to, you will lose that fight every single day.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I want to get to the point though of having my girlfriend, help me through doing show. Let's go through this together. The tool is not going to be for everyone because she's not looking for a side hustle. She's not looking. She is a professional career person.
And she loves her job.
What she does. Now, I've talked about her story, and at some point we might even have her on as a guest to talk about how she is self-employed. She has a business, but it's in a more professional position that you're just not going to go out and start your own counseling therapist business and have all the degrees and all that stuff. But she's also she's a self-employed business owner, and so many challenges that go into those decisions and such. And so that's for another day. But when we did the form with her, there was nothing on the list that she liked, no matter how many times that we fine-tuned it, and everything was, there was a reason for it. Well, I wouldn't do that. Why? She's a very charitable person. She's like, why would I? These things align with my interests and stuff that I do, but why would I ever charge somebody for that?
But I think the tool gave her exactly what she wanted from the tool. I think it gave her exactly what she wanted. She didn't want to find one because she loves what she does and she had no interest in finding a side hustle. And though it found some that would work for her, I think it gave her exactly what she wanted. Was it didn't work for me because I'm not looking. So it gave me some interesting ideas, but I wasn't going to do them anyway.
Yeah. And that's,
so it does kind of give you what you want from it.
And what as we talked it through, when because every answer or everything that we went to, there was some reason why no on all of them. And there wasn't anything that, and if there was something that went along with her skill set or her interests or her ideas, there was a reasoning that she wouldn't want to do that, or I would never charge somebody for that, or something like that.
And I could see Teresa being the same way, because Teresa loves what she does right now with the reselling. Mm-hmm. And she's not interested. Like, she does not veer off path easy. She does not like change.
Yeah.
And she likes what she does. So she could find the most interesting, perfect fit for her in the world. And she'd be like, no, I don't want, why would I do that? I like what I'm doing. Like, but she's not looking for something. So it would be very difficult for her to get a lot of value out of that.
And that's, what I think in the end with Jill, what I kind of got her around to thinking, or at least what I took from that experience, is the actual tool worked. After we did some fine tuning, and although it wasn't something that she was interested in because she wasn't looking, it did return marketable, saleable opportunities that if she would want to go down that path,
that she would enjoy,
that she would enjoy, mm-hmm. Because they align with her thoughts and her feelings. And so, and she's not an AI person. She has her thoughts and opinions about AI and what it's doing. That people are no longer going to be creative. You're never going to know if somebody actually wrote a book or scored a music, musical song or whatever. And which is true. It is becoming more difficult to
people
discern,
had those same
it's out there.
People had those same arguments about electricity. What's going to burn everybody's house down? It's not safe. You can't bring that in. Like they had the same arguments about automobiles. You're putting the horse owners out of business. Like every major thing in history has had the people that argued against it. But this is bigger. This is bigger than, I would say this is bigger than the invention.
Bigger than the Beatles?
Oh, way bigger than the Beatles.
Okay. Man, yes. Well, Slim Whitman had sold more records Slim than Whitman? Elvis and the Beatles. You don't know who Slim Whitman is?
I have no idea. I'm going to ask ChatGPT as soon as we're done here, though.
Yeah, there's your homework, folks. Not only do the side hustle finder, but weigh in on your thoughts of Slim Whitman. If you know who he is, if you don't, go out there and
Should I feel like a dunce right now? Because I don't know. Because I really don't know.
No, as an infomercial sort obscure? Of a thing. Not really, not from my generation. I think most of the people that in my you're kind of in my generation. Kind of. TV commercial where he was selling albums, and he had sold more albums than Elvis and the Beatles, and but so did Zamfir, master of the pan flute. Do you know who Zamfir is, Corey?
No.
Well, there you go. In the chat, somebody out there has to know. But not only are you going to weigh in,
Western music singer, I found him.
Yes. Okay.
Well, ChatGPT found him.
Not only are you going to weigh in on your thoughts of Slim Whitman and Zamfir, we want to hear what you think of the tool. If somebody does it, again, up
and
to you.
If you're just anti-AI, like put your arguments in here for against AI. If you just refuse to use it, tell us why.
We would like to know that. Yes,
we would. Well, mostly so we could make fun of you for being the guy on the corner with the end is nigh sign.
That is not true, Corey.
We're not going to make fun
because everybody has
I can't.
Their thoughts and their opinions and
up until 6 months ago. The old man was keeping me out of AI too. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. Like I'll just do things the way I've always done. And about 6 months ago, I dove into it. Yep, that's a word.
I think it's dived it in.
I dived it into it.
Yes.
And I haven't found the bottom of it yet. Like it's a giant rabbit hole. But I'm telling you, with every business that I run and every side hustle I have going right now, on at least a weekly basis, if not daily, I'm going back into ChatGPT and I'm saying, hey, I ran into this problem. How, give me some ideas of how to handle this the best.
Yeah.
Even with simple stuff like eBay messages for returns. Somebody sends me this weird message and you're like, how do I even respond to that? ChatGPT knows. And it gives you a really good professional response that keeps your emotion out of it. Like you could use it in so many ways. And I'm really excited for it. I am, because I use it all the time.
Definitely a pro AI episode here, Corey, that we've got going on.
It is a little bit. And I'm not even advocating for one AI over the other. I think pick one. It doesn't matter. Right now I use ChatGPT mostly. Yeah. But I use other AIs too. But the thing is, since I started getting into it, I don't think I remember the last time I did a Google search for anything. People say, if you want to know something, Google it or look it up on YouTube. I don't do that anymore because then I have to sort through 500 results and AI can give me 10 results and say, this is why we think these are the top 10 results.
Yeah.
And this is why we think this one's BS. Like it could do the analytical part for you. And then you can dive into a conversation and say, let's talk about this one. Why do you think it's the best? Or what could you get from this? You could even, if you found a YouTube video, you could copy the URL, give it to ChatGPT and say, analyze this video and give me the talking points. So you don't have to watch the 45-minute video. Yeah. You could do that with this episode, and I would recommend
Don't do that with this episode. Corey, be quiet.
We're supposed to be getting watch time, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it's always good to have watch time, and hopefully people have made it this far. And so I think next week on the episode, if you did make it this far, next week on the episode, hopefully we have some feedback from people, whether it's your thoughts about AI, that's great.
Those were crazy.
It's your results, if you actually went through this, and I want to hear the ones that you're really excited that somebody got an idea and they're really excited and they wanted to do it, but more so those people that did it and just said there was no benefit to this to me at all. But why? Let's find out why. Not just, oh, this thing sucks and you just give it a little bit of why. And
Or
also,
just tell us you're not going to do it. Tell us you have
Yeah.
no interest in it and you love what you're doing now. Like, just give us an idea. But really, the valuable information is going to come from those people that are like, this sounds interesting. I'm going to try it. And they go all the way through it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really interested to hear if they got anything valuable out of it.
And most importantly, I need to know your favorite Slim Whitman song. Which Slim Whitman song that you liked the best? Because I know you're all gonna. If you don't know who it is, you're all gonna go out.
Well, it's the song he did for Deliverance, right?
He didn't do a song for Deliverance.
What's it, the dueling banjo one?
That's not Slim Whitman. No, he's not. So,
well, it could be.
Hopefully, some of these, we're still finding our way here in this kind of new venture, and sometimes we talk round and round and go back and forth. But hopefully, you found some benefit. Hopefully, the tool is beneficial to you. Again, I reiterate: watch that video. It's free. We're not collecting information at all from anybody.
I hope the tool is useful to somebody. And I hope at least one person does the tool and says, this is the new side hustle I'm going to do. This is amazing. And this is exciting. But if it does nothing else but get you to open ChatGPT and have your first conversation with it and introduces you to what it can and can't do, I think you've won from this episode. I really do. If we could introduce you to ChatGPT and nothing else, then I think this episode succeeded. Even if it only gets 100 views.
No affiliation. I don't want to seem like an infomercial here because we're not selling anything. And you can use any AI that you want. This examples was ChatGPT. So, and then maybe as we'll review those. Maybe if we get some comments in early, maybe we can even get a guest scheduled. That's one of the things we want to do here on the show is get some guests in that are either doing side hustles or not necessarily only side hustles, because side hustle is in addition to maybe your regular employment. We want to get people that are self-employed. Corey has been telling me all week about these cool things that he's finding, different people that are going down different avenues and doing things different. And
we're going to try and reach out to some of these.
Yeah. And get some guests on here, some people that we don't know, and gain information from them. And so it is possible as part of the show next week, we will have a guest. If not, we hope that the whole show is taken up with your comments of what you thought of the tool, what you think of AI, good or bad.
Well, if you start a side hustle before next week and let us know, maybe we'll have you on as a guest to talk about your side hustle.
Perfect. I love it. So until then, have a great week, everyone. And we will catch you next week on the Reseller
Unemployed for a Living podcast. I need a new host.
We will